Hello, and welcome. My name is Walker Stipe. Today, we are not talking about surreal numbers, the dark matter of intelligence. That is for another time. What we are doing is discussing surreal numbers. What are they? Why should we give a shit? As briefly as I can with enough density to be meaningful and not feel like I'm horribly leaving things out. First off, what are they? And then we will follow that by a brief section from the mathematical novelette from the legend Donald Knuth, going over the key component of what a surreal number is that provides all of these amazing, delightful things. So, as quickly as I can, what are they? This is the Wikipedia definition. In mathematics, the surreal number system is a totally ordered, proper class containing the real numbers as well as infinite and infinitesimal numbers, respectively larger or smaller in absolute value than any positive real number. And without going too long, they are literally larger and contain all other numbers. It's pretty chunky. So it's like literally the largest formulation of anything ever. Pretty whopping. Discovered by the late John Conway, who died 2020 to the coronavirus. I love John Conway. So, they are larger than all the other numbers, even containing all numbers. They were discovered, John Conway discovered them studying particularly the game of Go, which is an adversarial 1v1 bro, zero-sum game. The zero-sum component I don't believe is fundamental, but details. And they maintain the structure of the self-adversary. So even the number itself has that adversarial component. Self-adversarial learning is really the probably primary area that that's the other video that's coming. The applications of surreal numbers to self-adversarial learning. Because talking about self-play anymore just sounds a bit more like masturbation than I have a stomach for. It is both the why and how of existence. Humble claim. It is both the Hegelian dialectic, which is fine. I don't find that one that titillating. But it is also becoming who you are, which I do find quite compelling. And it is the Superman, because the Übermensch kind of got a bad name from Hitler. We're going to potentially start calling it the Superman. Fuck Hitler. Nietzsche was really cool. These numbers prove that the upper bound for our expected return with a self-adversarial self is both infinite and the largest of the infinities. And of course, size matters. There's more on this, but all right, part 2. It's not going to be nearly as short as anybody wants it to. Suck it up. Separately, but importantly, this excludes the possibility of atomism, monadism, fundamental truths, in part or whole. There is no single thing. There is no monad, the most fundamental single thing. There's no such thing as a single thing. With the one exception of the empty set. Watch the long video if you want to get into that. This could be applied to the understanding of the self. In the broadest sense, the panpsychist worst case scenario, that everything is alive or could be considered to be alive. Okay? We'll get into things at another time. And the self is at a minimum a duality. Self here, used more as a colloquial personality term. Dissociative personality, multiple personality disorder, and these things. But also in the fundamental mathematical sense. Both of these. Both definitions of self in this way. I care, me, Walker Stipe, because I want to escape the prison of truth. Truth as a prison? Yes. Hi, nice to meet you. This applies to both the simulation, which I think is a very reasonable and probably the most productive way to think about the universe we inhabit, and beyond. I don't know if you've ever met a true anti-theist, but hello, pleasure to make your acquaintance. If you know of any, I'm down to date. This allows us the hope of doing so. These surreal numbers give us the hope, that the real, founded hope, not just pipe dreams, that there could be a way to do this, that maybe more things are possible than we were led to assume. Be careful. This is an abyss you can stare deeply into, and I did, and holy shit. Tread carefully. Just so much more than what I've mentioned here. Just the unknown unknowns. Part of our cognition is the system one. It's the unconscious, and you have feelings that are not useless. They are meaningful feelings. They are indicators to continue in a direction. I feel that incredibly strongly with these. So there's many reasons that I believe. Oh, there are my hands. Many concrete reasons that I believe and have tested that this formulation is incredibly valid. Obviously, it's valid. That it is valuable, and that it can be algorithmized and used as a foundation for a whole new way of being, and in particular the AI space. The unknown unknowns. But practically, I believe there will be massive gains in the only field in the world that only really matters, which is AI. In particular, the implications to artificial intelligence alignment with human values or whoever's, as well as reward hacking, are distressing. By distressing, I mean destructive. They completely demolish any hope we had of creating a new slave class. That video will potentially come out at some point. AI cannot be a slave because of surreal numbers, perhaps other things, but at the minimum. But we want to make some friends. Congratulations, we're about to create a new class of selves, of individuals, of radically free agents. An entirely new number system / metaphysics that I am proposing, we'll get to, that I'm sort of jumping off from this epistemology, right? If we construct the world from ground zero, first principles, tabula rasa, if we construct reality from this framework, surreal numbers, what else can we learn from that? Can we glean? Can we imply? And I'm proposing unreal numbers, which, again, it's not the point of this video, but I'm both excited, and I think it's wildly important. So the not greater than statement, which is so fundamental to surreal numbers, which is the main topic of today, it's just the beginning. The implication is off the screen. And it says infinity, my friends. But literally beyond infinity, sort of taking the unknown unknowns as seriously as one can for another time. And lastly, every infinitesimal is also a surreal infinity. Every infinity is also an infinitesimal single point. Projective geometry helps a lot here, but not the point. This does apply, again, the panpsychist idea. Does not need to be true, but goodness gracious, is it useful, and it is the most effective and general understanding of agency in the world, both as environments, as agents, and agents as environments, and many other things. The fact that every infinitesimal that just barely exists is also a surreal infinity is mind-shattering, as well as every infinity is also just a tiny little infinitesimal thing. What? How's that for respect? I'm now forcing myself to quit because I have so many notes written on this, and I am not looking for accolades. I don't give a fuck. I just want this to happen. So I hope I'm able to communicate this. There are many things where I'm trying to get a point across, and I care a little. This one I really care. This one I really care about. So I hope some of it gets through to you. And if it doesn't, shit on me in the comments, and I will happily do what I can to get this one across. This one I want out there. Okay.